The Nightcore EDC 29 is just a fantastic flashlight. Let me give you my bottom line up front. If you're looking for a flashlight that has a lot of lumen output, you're okay with it only doing that for literal maybe 20-25 seconds at a time, but you like the way it looks and you like the warranty and all that other good stuff and a few quirky things that kind of go with it, then the price point of a little bit over $100 does make sense for the Nightcore EDC 29. However, let me tell you the things I do and don't like about this. I've had this flashlight for over a year now. They've just come out with a new colorway. I think I can give you a very just good perspective of whether or not this flashlight is worth it. So we do have the EDC 29, which does have their lumen shield technology, which is just a fancy way for them to say, we're going to give you a lot of lumens. It's not going to be for a long time, but you're going to be able to use it in bursts or all of that good stuff. So the flashlight itself does have the ability to put out 6,500 lumens. However, when you do that, a timer immediately pops up on here and it lets you know, hey, this is how much time you got left before the actual lumen output you have is going to step down. And once it steps down, you know, then it goes down to high or turbo mode. So that is, it does regenerate itself, but it has to do that because this body is so small. It can't really output that many lumens for that long of time. So it does feel like they made a few subtle improvements on the EDC 29, although they don't really list it on their website. First off, the biggest thing I noticed is the button. So here is the EDC 29 in all black that I've had for a while. You can hear how clicky that button is. Whereas if I do this one, like it's clearly a difference when it comes to the buttons themselves. And so I will also say that the ramp on the lockout switch feels a little bit different, but maybe mine's a little bit more worn in. So that may be neither here nor there. Other than that, everything else about these is going to be the same. You're still going to get that good OLED screen. It's going to tell you exactly which lumen output you've selected and how many hours or minutes it believes it can run that lumen output before it puts the screen to sleep. So you can select, you can go through these lumen modes while the flashlight is on, or you can go through those modes while the flashlight is off. So I'm still pre-selecting the lumen output that I want. So if I want 100 lumens, then I can press it, get constant on. So that is something to think about. You can also do a a momentary type of press by just pressing here, or actually 15 lumens when you do this momentary output type of thing. Flashlight has a spot flood mix. You can't change that. It is what it is. You also cannot remove the battery. So if you forget to charge this, you wake up to, you haven't touched this thing in 3 days. You're deciding, hey, today I'm taking this thing with me to the woods. I'm taking it fishing. I'm going to use it to maintenance my pool. I'm going to use it to cut the grass at night. I'm going to use it to go check my shed. It could be dead. Okay. So you do want to think about the thinking stuff like that. It does sit in between the EDC 23 and the EDC 27 UHI, which I don't have here right now, in the EDC 37. Now, a 37 has a couple of things on the 29. First off, it has a clearly inscribed and noted lockout switch, whereas on the 29, you just have to learn which way is locked and which way is not. So that's locked, that's not. So the this also has more lumen output. This can do 8,000 lumen for a number of seconds, whereas this one can do 65 for a number of seconds. This one does not have glass breakers, whereas the 37 has glass breakers. And, it does kind of just fit in your hand a little bit more. And this kind of fits in more stubby places very, very easily. Is the 37 worth it? I'm looking forward to EDC 37 version 2. When they give me a couple of more features. So this is kind of what it looks like in a pouch. This is a bigger flashlight, guys. I'm just going to kind of keep it real with you. This one it does fit in your pocket, but it's not like the easiest fit in your pocket. This is like if you're wearing traditional pants, trousers, 100% you're good to go. If you're in like shorts or basketball shorts or swim, it's just a little bit too big for that. That's something maybe you want to take a look at the EDC 27 or really the EDC 23 is a really beast for going directly in your pocket. So let's talk about changing out some of these lockout modes. So right now it's in what's called lockout mode 2. Lockout mode 2 means you can't turn on anything, okay? But what you could do is while you're using either turbo or lumen shield. So let's go to turbo, which is 3000 lumen, right? I can click this. Now I'm what's called semi-lock or lockout mode 1, meaning I won't be able to use the smaller button up here, but the bigger tactical button, I can still get access to the lumen shield and to turbo mode. So that's lockout mode 1. Another thing you can do is while holding down here, you can actually click this button and you can change the actions of the tactical switch itself, right? So I have it right now to do a strobe. I can push buttons. I can make it come on constant instead. So there's different things you can make the full button do. So instead of mine coming on strobe, I can click here. Now it's coming on 6500 lumen constant, which is what I prefer. You may want yours to come on 6500 lumen, or maybe you wanted to come on 3000 lumen strobe and 3000 lumen regular, right? So you have to think about that. The only thing is that power meter is on while you're trying to select these different modes. So I have to just kind of like know what I'm trying to select. So this is lumen shield 6500. This is lumen shield strobe. This is lumen shield. So here's the thing is when you're going through these selections, you have to just understand that you're going through these selections while the power meter is up. It does show you momentarily on the screen what you just selected, but you know, it kind of is what it is on that. That's a quirky feature as well. I normally keep mine set up to when I have pressed this thing, it goes me 3000 turbo. So that's turbo mode. When I full press it, I get 6500. And that's normally how I have mine set up. So that lets me just light up an expansive area. I don't really need the strobe functionality. I can see how that could be helpful for protecting yourself or blinding somebody, but I don't necessarily need that for this one. I want just, if I'm going to use this, I want max lumen output. You see, it takes much longer to recharge itself the more you use it. So I just got done using this a good steady amount and it's still slowly climbing back up. I can turn on the 6500 lumen mode. It's just warning me that you're getting less and less time because the flashlight is recognizing the heat that's being put on this circuit board, the heat that's being put on the battery, and is trying to mitigate that. So it's not going to give it to you as long as that you may prefer, but you still get it. Okay. EDC 29 is just a pretty sweet spot, a sweet flashlight. If you're looking for just a lot of output, and you really like the functionality of it. There's a lot of different options when it comes to these flat flashlights right now. My biggest competitor, I would say, for the EDC 29 when it comes to the flat flashlight is going to be coming from somebody like Olight. So if you really want like a good comparison when it comes to flat flashlights, it's really going to be some of the heavy hitters. I know Workos is doing a lot of stuff and there's plenty of brands that are giving you a lot of output, but I'm talking about consistency. So if we're thinking about consistency, there are a lot of companies that are doing flat flashlights, Workos and Amalent, and there's a lot of kind of like one hitter brands, but sometimes I get quirky issues with those brands. These are the ones that are most consistent. They're so consistent. They're doing LEDs and batteries for other companies. That's how consistent some of these companies are. You know, the next torch, the TA70 is a great tactical flashlight with a good ring in here, makes it easier to use one-handed. But even with this flashlight itself, it doesn't have the lumen output that you're going to get from the Nikkor. The Phoenix, the EOS 8RE is a great functional 4-in-1 flashlight. It's going to give you waterfall features and all sorts of quirky things you can use this with. It's a fun flashlight. It's a great flashlight. But once again, the lumen output is not there when it comes to this flashlight, although it's very, very good. I think it's getting over nearly 2000 lumen. But this is not necessarily designed for that monstrous type of output. Then you also have the Arc Pro, which is coming, and the Arc Pro Ultra, which is coming from Olight. The Arc Pro Ultra is going to get you a decent lumen output, but because it does do so much functionality where you're getting a UV light and you're getting a laser and you're doing all this other stuff, like it's not necessarily going to give you the output that you're going to get from the Nikkor. And then we got the Streamlight Wedge, which I think is the most consistent workhorse. It doesn't give you all the fancy bells and whistles. You turn it on, you get 300 lumens, you push it forward, you get 1000 lumens, That's it. But it's very, very good, consistent, and it's been working. This specific one that I'm holding in my hands, I've had for almost 4 years, and I've had no issues with it, minus the fact that you can't take the battery out. So how long is the battery going to last? I don't know. All of these I just showed you can't take the battery out. So what did EDC 29 decide to do? What Nicor decided to do with this is they took all of their competition. Some of these didn't exist when this came out, and they thought about, well, what can we do to make ours a little bit different? They added the OLED screen. They added the monstrous 6500 lumen output, although you're not going to get that for very long. And then they've just added a couple of subtle features like lockout modes, where some of these other flashlights have lockout modes, and just to give it a very tactical and aggressive look. So if you're trying to find something that's well balanced, I think you're going to be better off considering another flat flashlight, which I'll probably do my favorite flat flashlight video here soon. But if you're looking for a flat flashlight, which gives you the maximum output from a reputable company, it's Nicor. And I say reputable company because they are providing LEDs for other companies now. They are providing batteries for other companies now. And when you get to that status, I think that you have entered into a league of just being reliable. So that's where it is, man. Long-term review of the Nicor EDC 29. Big old fan of this bad boy. Maybe not necessarily always something that I carry every month, but I am carrying it this month just to refamiliarize myself with it, because they did just drop this green colorway, and I wanted to come back and give you a longer term review. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.